to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends who are listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. If you're just joining us for the first time, Talking Heads is a platform for experts from around the world to present lessons based on their knowledge and their expertise. I am very proud that we have this wonderful team here at USA Global TV, and our expert presenter today is Mr. Roland Friedl. Let's welcome him to the program. Hi, Roland.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline. How are you doing?
Hi, it's great to see you. Roland, you have a wonderful presentation for today, but for people who are just joining us for the first time, this is your first presentation as a talking head, and you've got 6 presentations lined up for this first section. So I'm going to spotlight you. I'm going to share your presentation, and then I'll come back at the end to discuss it with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, everyone. Wherever you join us from the US, from Asia, from Europe, I'm very happy and very excited to do my first Talking Head show. And I prepared a session that is called Increase Your Leadership Performance by Smart Planning at the Team Meeting. My name is Roland Friedl. I'm originally from Austria, a small country in the center of Europe. Very beautiful, but a little bit cold. And for that reason, I've been moving after many countries I've been living and traveling. I moved to a beautiful island in the Mediterranean Sea, to Mallorca in Spain, where I work from. And I dedicate my life and to support organizations and their leaders worldwide in huge organizations, also in startups, to not only to perform better, but to have a more purposeful life. So let's get started. As I mentioned before, the first module that includes 6 episodes is called Increase Your Leadership Performance by Smart Planning and Effective Team Communication. And it sounds very obvious, but I know it from my own experience. Now, almost 3 decades I'm working with companies all over the world from different background, different industry. It's not always a smart planning, and mostly it's not always a very effective team communication. Why they're not performing as they could. Some companies are really performing good, but they could do it much better. And yes, the first episode is smart goal setting, because I think it's very important. Really setting smart goals, because it means that you can absolutely clarify as a leader, maybe as a business owner, or just as a leader, as a manager with your team, with your department, clarify your ideas and focus on your efforts. This will be the focus today, the first episode, and I give you a short overview what's coming the next sessions. So the next session is the second episode will be strategy and action planning. So we start with goal setting, then we go to strategy and action planning, because strategy, speaks to the reasons why, while the plan is focused on how you're doing it. In episode 3, I will introduce you a success star from my experience that helps a lot of leaders all over the world. This includes 5 important steps to consider for successful team performance, how to get a successful team performance together. This will be episode 3, the success star. Episode 4, we will in 4 weeks, we will focus and emphasize on effective team meetings. So making sure that all your team members are aligned and find out which individual leadership style you need for each team member so they perform. In episode 5, we are talking about different leadership styles, because I strongly believe that every team member needs a different leadership style, and every team member also needs or may need a different leadership style in different tasks. And last but not least, on episode 6, we focus on reviewing, on feedback processes. So you don't forget to do an appropriate review and give feedback to your team members about the individual contribution to their team performance. So this is a short overview. So as I mentioned, the first episode is about smart goal setting, and for the next 20 to 25 minutes. And we will look at this on different aspects. We will look a bit why it is important to set smart goals. Okay, why is it so important? What are we doing by setting smart goals? How we are doing it? And at the end, we're talking a little bit about what if this happens or this happened or does not happen. So we will look at these 4 aspects. Let's start with the why. Why setting smart goals? And I will later explain you what smart goals mean. First of all, I guess it's all about increasing your performance. You want to be more successful in life. And when I speak to you as a business owner or as a manager or as a leader, you want to, of course, be successful, meaning you want to increase your personal and your team performance, your success. But maybe you also have private goals, like, I don't know, running a marathon, running faster, running wider, or maybe you want to build up muscles, or whatever goal it is. Okay, so you want to increase your performance, you want to be better, you want to be successful. That's why we do that. But what does success exactly mean? When I ask people, what do you understand as success? I hear different opinions, different topics. But for me, successful is nothing else than reaching your own set goals. This is success. Because most people make the mistake that they compare with others. And this is not a very good approach. So really focus on your own goals, set your own goals. And when you reach them, then you are successful. That's my understanding about success. So it is so important to set smart goals to be successful. That's the first thing. And I kind of talk from my own experience. You know, I'm 57 now, and I started in my very, very early years as when I went to school, and also as a student with my first businesses. And I had the luck and chance to meet a very successful person who was 10 years older than me, still is 10 years older than me. We are still very, very good friends since almost 4 decades. And he helped me out as a mentor and a coach. And what he taught me in the beginning is always that when you want to be successful, set smart goals. Set your goals. Write it down. And I said to him, you know, his name is Eric. I said, Eric, I have everything in my head. I said, no. Set goals, write it down. I will explain you later how we do this. Set these goals, and whatever you want to achieve, do this. And be brave and really challenge yourself and set huge goals. Have a clear vision, huge goals, because on the way, and it's always a journey, you know, to reach these goals, you will have obstacles on the way. And the point is, when your goal, your vision is smaller than the obstacles on the way, you don't see your goal anymore. You're distracted by the obstacle, and maybe you give up. So find out that you have a really huge vision, a huge goal that is much, much larger, much more exciting, much more better than every obstacle in the way, and then you never give up. So you have to start with a really strong why, what you really want to achieve in your life, whatever you want to achieve in your organization, what you want to achieve in your business, what you want to achieve your team. Okay, so that's the why. To be successful, you have to set goals, and we will talk about to set smart goals. So what exactly doing? And as I mentioned before, okay, we start with our own vision, what we really want to achieve in life, what we really want to do, what is important for us. Yeah. So the first thing is about finding out what is your vision. Yeah. Because we're doing this to increase, on one hand, your motivation, we do to increase your focus. It also makes the best use of your limited time you have, because we only have 24 hours. You're limiting resources. It increases your confidence when you have clear goals, because you have a clear direction where we go. And what I can talk from my own experience and all other successful people in the world outside is it makes you a good outcome more likely. So that's all about setting goals. So generating a goal. That's what we're doing. We generate a goal, and just give you a few minutes. And I always say, find a place where you feel comfortable. Maybe it's a favorite cafe in a corner. You're enjoying a good coffee or tea, or maybe it's out in the countryside. You want to do this in nature. So find a place where you are by yourself. You're not distracted, and really generate your goal. Sit back, turn off all distractions, and take a deep breath, and then ask yourself the question, What do you want to happen in your business? What do you want to happen in your organization the next year, the next 2 years? And I know years ago when I started my career, we have been talking about 5-year, 10-year plans. We already know now that life is so fast changing. There's always crisis coming up, and then everybody has been experiencing the last 2 years with this big timing. So maybe you don't plan too long. Of course, you have a clear vision, but maybe you set a goal for the next year, and starting with this. Okay, so that's what we do, setting clear goals. So how we are doing this, and this is by setting so-called SMART goals. On SMART, what does this SMART mean? S stands, first of all, S stands for specific, meaning be as specific, as clear, and as less vague as possible. Okay, be as specific as possible, because the more specific you are, the more clearer you are. The more clearer you are, you know exactly what to do and what to achieve. Then you really go forward. So it's very, very important that you are very, very specific. So add as many details as possible. Be very, very specific what you really want. And maybe when you're in business, maybe in figures or in percentages, whatever it is. So be as specific. I give you an example from a private coaching, for example, or for the business context. It happened more than once. Then I asked the coach, he said, "What do you want?" And they said, "I want to make more money, or I want to make more sales." Yeah. And what I always do is I put a coin outside, one penny or 1 cent, and I give this person, and I said, "Okay, goal accomplished. I send you the bill because you said more money. So I gave you 1 cent, 1 penny, goal accomplished." So be specific. How much money you want to make, how much sales you want to make, how much coverage you want to make in your money, how many market shares you want to have, how much you want to increase this or that. So be very, very, very specific. This is so important. Okay. And always also being specific means being positive. Most people tell me what they don't want to achieve, what they don't want to accomplish. Be clear about what you want to achieve. And as I mentioned, be as specific as possible. M stands for measurable. This is also very important. So add numbers so you can measure it. When do you accomplish this goal? What do you have to reach in numbers, on sales, on coverage? So make it measurable. And even when it's not a quantitative goal, when it's a qualitative goal, define your benchmark, make it measurable when you reach this goal. It's very important. Make it measurable, because how do you otherwise, how do you recognize that you reach this goal? Okay, make it measurable. Quantitative goals are easy. Qualitative goals, find your way. Okay, what is your critical point where you reach this qualitative goal? But make it measurable. That's very important. The third point, the A, stands for achievable. Okay, so are you going to be able to do this? And what I mean is, because sometimes I hear, yeah, your goal is not realistic, and this is something, yeah, a bit. I would be a little bit careful about realistic for whom. Okay, so challenge yourself, dream big, make big goals, challenge yourself. I tell you what I understand on achievable. For me, achievable means maybe it's challenging, maybe it sounds unrealistic to somebody else, but maybe you find somebody, and today we can Google everything, we can get every information we want. Maybe there was already somebody who achieved this goal. Doesn't mean it was easy for this person, but this person or this organization already achieved this goal. Then you can model this person or this organization and achieve the same. Okay, so achievable means realistic in a way for you, but challenging. And it can mean that it's not realistic for somebody else, because when somebody else has smaller boundaries or this tunnel view, it's unrealistic for this person, but it's realistic for you. So achievable means Okay, you can do it with the resources, with the energy, with the time frame you have, but it can be challenging. Okay, so achievable. R stands for relevant. This is also very important. Is it relevant for you? Meaning, is it not only nice to have, so is it really relevant? And when we talk that in a business context, does it matter? Does this bring you closer to your long-term vision of the company, of long-term vision strategy of your company? Does it matter? Is it important for you? Is it relevant? Is it relevant for your organization? Is it relevant for your clients? Is it relevant? This is very, very important. Okay, not nice to have some. Is it really important? And I guess, especially when you run your own company, so when you work for an organization, you have maybe a long-term strategy as the whole organization, and we are just in charge for a part of it, of a department, whatever it is, a finance department, sales department, whatever it is. Then is the goal you set for your organization, for your team, is it relevant? Does it matter to the whole thing, to the whole organization? Okay, but is it relevant? This is very important, because when it's not relevant, then it does. First of all, it doesn't make any sense to waste resources and time, but also you will fail because there's no motivation on that. Okay, so be relevant. And last but not least, T stands for time-based. Set a timeline by when you want to achieve this goal together with your team. Okay, when is it going to happen? Yeah, and this is very, very important. Set a timeline by when. So you can plan all the necessary steps when we talk in the next session about the strategic plan, the action plan, from reaching this deadline all the way back. What steps do you have to do? Well, how to structure this? How you structure your strategy plan? How you structure your action plan to finally reach your goal until the deadline, or even faster. Sometimes, when you really plan it good, my experience is that you will reach it faster. But it's so important to build this starting up, to build up this goal. So I just summarized this, and I really want to emphasize it on do it smartly, meaning be as specific as possible. This is very key, especially when you work with teams, when you lead an organization, when you lead a team, be as specific as possible so all team members and understand exactly what the goal is. So be as specific. And I see it many times when I see kickoff meetings, or I attend. Sometimes I'm invited by business leaders to support them, to coach them. So I attending kickoff meetings or annual meetings, stuff like that, just as a silent listener to give them feedback afterwards, what they can do better. And what I always see is that they're not very specific in their goals. They communicate to the teams and wonder why the team is not aligned, why the team is not performed. So it's so important to get the alignment from the team, that you are absolutely specific what goal you want to reach. So I can really emphasize that. Be specific. And as I said, measurable. I just repeat it for you because it's so important. Being measurable in figures. And as I mentioned before, quantitative goals are easy to measure. It's a little bit challenging, but you find your benchmark. What is the critical benchmark when you have a qualitative goal? I give you an example for qualitative goal. We'll ask, what do you mean by qualitative? For example, your goal is to be the most friendly organization in your neighborhood, or the most friendly organization, or whatever it is. Okay, so how do you measure that your customers think that you're the most friendliest organization? So find your benchmark. Okay, how it is, but you can make it measurable. And A, as I said before, is it achievable? Meaning you can do it. It can sound unrealistic for somebody else who has not the same vision like you. And actually, this world, this technology is evolving and transforming all the time. because there already have been people outside who had, for the majority of the people, unrealistic goals, an unrealistic vision, but they went for that. They go for it. I give you an example, because in my early years, and I still do when I have time, is I love to read, of course, in general, but I love to read biographies of successful people. And I will never forget the biography of Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motors. And there's a story, a session about it, when he said why he came up with this Ford, this car. And I said, you know what? I had this vision of a car, and if I would ask my engineers, I would have asked my customers, what do you want? Because before we had cars, we had horses and horse wagons, So if I would ask them, they would tell me, yeah, they want faster horses or more convenient horse wagons or whatever. But my vision was something for most of the maturity, because they had no experience of that. Yeah, they're used to horses, riding on horses, or riding in a horse car. But my dream was to build a car and sell a car. So what I mean with achievable, it must be achievable for you. Okay, it may sound unrealistic to other ones. Don't care about that. Follow your dream, follow your vision, follow your goal. And I want to focus again, is be relevant. This is very important. Your goal must be relevant, meaning it's not a nice to have shift. It drives you. It's relevant for the whole organization, for the whole team, or for the higher your goal the organization, the company, your team is following. And last but not least, set a deadline. Make it time-based by when you want to reach it, and also communicate this for the team, because sometimes when you want to reach different, especially organizational company goals, they're maybe more complex. You have to structure it. You know exactly, for example, setting up a project team, you have to know exactly when has what to be done. So you need a time base. I'll give you an example. When you want to construct a house, build a house, you have to know exactly when the house is ready, that somebody is moving in. So you have to set a deadline. And then you plan back who I need first. Yeah? Who is doing electricity? Who is doing plumbing? Who is doing the bricks? Who is doing the basement? Who is doing this and this? Okay, so you need a timeline to organize, to structure all the different resources, all the different people involved. Actually, it's not complex. It's not rocket science. But as I mentioned before, I see it very often that people don't do it. They don't take the time to prepare smart goals, and then they wonder why they don't reach the goals, why they themselves or the team is not performing. So especially I talk to you as a business owner or a business leader or a team leader. Sit down, and maybe by yourself or even with the team. You can also do it in a brainstorming together with a team, depending on the organization, how open it is, how open the communication is, and sit down and write down in a written version smart goals, as we learned before. And I can only talk from my own experience not also as a consultant and as a trainer and a coach, but also as my companies I started years ago successfully. It was so important to have smart goals. I don't know who was it, but somebody says, if you don't know the harbor, the direction, no wind is a good one for you for sailing. So you have to know in which direction you are sailing, because otherwise you're ending up maybe in a place you don't want. And we all deserve to have a successful and happy life. Okay, so that's the how. We have been talking about the why it's so important. We're talking about what we're doing. We have been talking about how we're doing. And last but not least, we're talking about what if, or if when. So this is what they call the eco check. So from my experience is maybe when I talk to you as a business leader, only in one goal, you have several goals with different topics, with different resources involved. And don't be frustrated if you don't reach all goals, if you don't accomplish all of them. And I can talk from my own experience, because I really challenge always myself. And I always write down 10 goals every year. So for me, it's 10 goals I write down every year. I want to accomplish, I want to achieve. And I guess in another show, the Miracle Connection, I was talking about the first year I did it. I was in my 20 years. The first year I really did sit down from 10 goals. I only reached one goal, but I reached it. It was much more than the year before. And then every year a little bit more. And still, after 36 years of setting smart goals every year, I don't reach all 10 still now. And if I would reach all 10, it may sound successful, but for myself, it would sound, oh, Roland, you didn't challenge yourself enough. Be more brave, challenge yourself. So I really challenge myself, and that's why my success is coming from challenging myself and setting really challenging goals that are achievable for me, in my opinion, maybe unrealistic for other ones, of course, but they don't have the same success like myself, the same lifestyle. I really challenge myself. Okay, so what if, is if you don't reach every goal, it's okay. But what if also means be very clear on the way, because it's a journey. Reaching goals is a journey. You set this goal, you align your team, you find out what you need to reach this goal. We will talk about next session about the strategy plan, the action plan, or whatever. But it's also important to adapt this always, to do a review process on the journey. Okay, I say, do we come closer to this goal or not? Maybe we have to adapt something. Yeah. Maybe when we talk about the next session next week, we have to adapt something in our strategy or action plan. Or maybe to come back to the SMART goals, maybe something is changing in the market. Maybe we have to adapt the goal. Yeah. So always be aware about that you are flexible, because the kind of disadvantage is when you focus too much on the goal you set, and maybe the circumstances are changing in 6 months or in a year time. And sometimes it's time to adapt the goal. And I always see that all leaders said, no, it was my goal, I stick to it. It can make sense that you give up this goal, adapt it, or go in a different direction because market circumstances are changing. Maybe a new competitor is coming on the market, or a competitor is coming with a better strategy, whatever is happening, or consumer behavior is changing. So it makes sense to adapt the goal, your goals sometimes. So always be have a review process, and be brave enough to really face this and do feedback all the time, also with your team. First of all, are we coming closer to the goal? And secondly, does this goal after 6 or 12 months still make sense? And if not, because as I mentioned before, the circumstances change, then adapt it or go in a different direction. Okay, this was it from my side on the first episode. I hope I could give you some value. Maybe it was not something new, but maybe you'll have a different perspective and a different approach. And if you need your more support and more help, I'm very happy if you contact me on my website, www. and then my name, rolandfriedl.com. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. We're going to find a way. I thank you so much for listening to me and watching to me. And if you like the content, I would be very happy if you recommend you to your friends, to your business partners all over the world. Thank you so much, and I wish you a good day, rest day. Thank you.
Well done, Roland. A lot of really good information there that applies to all business owners, whether it's a startup or you've been in business for a long time, you're thinking about starting a business. I was taking a lot of good notes there, so thank you.
I thank you.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing you again next week when you come back on the Mallorca Connection, as well as Talking Heads. And we'll also look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Listening Mentor program.
Yeah, I'm also very excited for that, because as a good leader, you also have to take care about your team, because otherwise you're not accomplishing your goals for yourself. You need a team, and it's so important to have a proper communication, and part of a proper communication is being a good listener. So I'm very excited about the show tomorrow.
Wonderful. I'm excited too. I look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye, and thanks again, and have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Bye. Thank you to each and every one of you who watches our programs on the live or on the replay. If you'd like to learn more about Roland and our other Talking Head team members, please go over to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com. Across the top, you can see Talking Heads, and you can click there. You can read about them. You can also watch the shows from there as well. If you'd like to be considered to be a Talking Head, it's by invitation only, and you have to have certain qualifications and accomplishments, and you must have been in your industry for 5 years. If you think you have what it takes, you can contact me directly by going to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and just put in there that you'd like to be considered as a talking head. Thank you so much for being here today. We'll be back again tomorrow for more programming. And again, you can go to our YouTube channel or our website to see all of our shows. Again, it's the same, USA Global TV. Thanks again. Thanks, Roland. Great job. We'll see you again tomorrow.